Hi all, and welcome back. Today we're looking at Stalker 2, 1 year after launch. What actually changed, how it's holding up right now, and what still needs fixing. As always, I won't waste your time, so let's jump straight in. Stalker 2 launched in November 20th, 2024, and the first weeks were tough. The atmosphere, the tone, the audio, the zone itself were never a problem and made the game special from the start. But the performance was shit, the AI wasn't behaving, quests and many other things broke, and the open world felt strangely empty for something built on A-life. It had amazing potential, but very rough execution. Luckily, patch 1.1 arrived quickly in December, fixing the worst stutters, tightening stealth, and unblocking some story progression. Still messy, but less chaotic. Then January delivered patch 1.2, more than 1,700 fixes across quests, AI, world logic, weapons, stability, mutants, and animations. This patch made at least the original release a lot more properly playable, and giving us hope that things would get better. By March, patch 1.3 improved movement, death animations, pathing, facial expressions, and made encounters feel less janky. Combat was still inconsistent, but the foundation was becoming solid. Even then, players felt the zone still didn't behave. Factions barely moved, mutants were passive, and nothing dynamic really happened. The world felt beautiful, but idle. That changed slowly with patch 1.4 in May. NPCs flanked more, retreated more, positioned smarter, and detection through bushes finally got adjusted. This is the first patch where gameplay was actively improving, while before it was mostly fixes. Now, patch 1.5 and 1.6 continued that trend. New anomalies, new death animations, new weather patterns, mutant parts trading, gear balancing, artifact changes, world interaction improvements, better physics reactions, and the Zone Kit expansion for modders. Performance also rose noticeably, especially on CPU-bound hardware. This is around the point players started recommending the game if you were willing to accept rough edges.
And then patch 1.7 arrived, right before the 1-year anniversary. This patch didn't redeem the game like some headlines imply, but it did finally solve the biggest complaint. The world didn't react. A-Life got a real upgrade. Factions now expand and lose territory, mutants fight for their zones, patrols move, checkpoints flip, and enemies actually lose sight of you in tall grass instead of laser tracking you through bushes. It also introduced Master difficulty, Expedition mode with limited saves, new anomalies, the stamina rework, a cleaner UI for gear and artifacts, and better controller aiming. Digital Foundry measured performance improvements of over 20% in CPU-limited scenes after all cumulative patches, so technically the game feels far more stable than it did a year ago. But don't get me wrong, it's still not good enough. So yeah, a year after launch, it's finally starting to live up to its potential. Not fully, not yet, but you can now objectively say it's a great game. What makes this more exciting is that it's finally set up to expand into new territory next year because it's no longer held back by the basics. The atmosphere, the sound, the world design, and the tension have always been great. And now, with the A-Life improvements, the quality of life updates, and the bug fixes, the game is starting to behave closer to what was promised. But there is still work to do. AI is more believable, but still inconsistent. Some enemies overreact, others underreact. Inventory management is still clunky even after the UI update. Performance is better, but not perfect. And that's me being nice.
And while factions now move around the map, the system still isn't as deep or reactive as the original Clear Sky Faction Wars. It's improving, not finished. Content is another point players bring up. The base game is atmospheric and memorable, but loot variety, encounter variety, and late-game gameplay loops could be stronger. The planned expansions, 2 of them, still haven't arrived, and the Unreal Engine upgrade to 5.4 is expected later in 2025, which should further improve streaming, lighting, and memory usage. So the long-term improvements aren't done. So 1 year later, where does Stalker 2 stand? It's no longer the unstable launch build people warned each other about. It's not redeemed, and it's not the definitive modern successor some hoped for. But it is finally a good game, atmospheric, tense, and steadily improving, with the biggest problems addressed in the long-term systems slowly coming to life. And with more updates and both expansions still coming, the future looks very bright. If you've been holding off because of the launch state, now is a great time to jump in. That was it. If you like videos that don't waste your time, then please consider to like and subscribe. Regardless, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.